The images coming out of Ukraine right now are horrible, just awful. Countless tragic atrocities and enormous pain are the truth of every war. And we always get just a tiny glimpse of the depth of the heartbreaking suffering. In the weeks before Putin launched the war to invade Ukraine, many doubted that Ukraine's president, Volodymyr Zelenskyy, was up to the challenge. After all, up until 2019, he had been a comedian. And the side-by-side comparisons of military might showed that Russia had thousands of more planes and tanks and hundreds of thousands more troops. The gap seemed insurmountable. The war's outcome, a foregone conclusion. Then this happened. Zelenskyy was offered a way to leave the country, but he declined and said instead, "I need ammunition, not a ride." And the world caught its collective breath. When Zelenskyy told the European Parliament, "We desire to see our children alive," the translator could barely contain his tears. Many believe that Zelenskyy will himself not come out of this alive, that he will be killed trying to rally his people in a cause that seems doomed. I don't know much else about him, but at least in this regard, Zelenskyy is like our Jesus in today's gospel. Just before this mountaintop moment described today, Jesus had told his band of followers that he was making his way to Jerusalem, and he knew this would yield great suffering and likely his death. But he was willing to do it. It was in him to take on that suffering out of love for them. It was in him to be willing to stay true, even should it lead to his death. The question, is that not in you and in me as well? Is there not some part of you that is willing to suffer for others? You know, we see the awful suffering, the appalling devastation and atrocities caused by the Russian invasion. Many of us feel such helplessness. And we see the courage of Volodymyr Zelenskyy, and we wonder, what can we do? I mean, certainly we can pray, but it seems like there should be more. Well, maybe this saying, attributed to Mahatma Gandhi, gives us the answer. It gives us our real call right now. Is this: be the change you want to see in the world. I think that's it. Be the change you want to see in the world. Doing so will cost us. I want to see a world with less anger and hatred. Well, I need to have less of that in my own heart. And when there is hatred in my neighborhood or school or family or on social media, I need to do the difficult work that it takes to be a maker of peace. I want to see a world where children aren't starving to death. I have to be someone in whom greed finds no home. I need to myself be a just person and a generous person. I want to see a world that is kinder. Well, what comes out of my mouth? Do people hear welcome in my words? See kindness in my eyes and my actions? We will undoubtedly know of many more horrors coming out of Ukraine. Again, we only see a tiniest bit of the real suffering. Zelenskyy, I don't know if he will live or if he will die. This former comedian was suddenly in a position of leadership, facing the worst crises a leader could have ever imagined. But this has called the best out of him. And he has found it within himself to do what is needed for others, even should it cost him his life. I pray that you and I are never in such a position. But we do face crises where we are called to do what is needed for love, even should it cost us, and sometimes maybe even cost us dearly. And it is in us to pay that price, to do what is needed. And as we lament the horrors of the suffering in Ukraine, we each have something to do right now. It is this: be the change we want to see in the world.